So today, we're going to take a look at some Strixhaven cards. I only know a little bit about what's going on in white, but in terms of everything else, these are just going to be my first reactions. First impressions, I should call it. Okay, let's take a look at white. First thing I notice as I'm just kind of skimming through all the cards is white's dealing a lot with +1/+1 counters, which excites me because I have a few decks in Arena that deal specifically with counters, and fun fact, quite a few of those decks are in the color white, so I can already see a couple cards that I might want to include in decks that I already own when these come out. I think the card that I'm most excited for that deals with +1/+1 counters, I'd say Dueling Coach. I can tap Dueling Coach to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control that already has a +1/+1 counter on it. It comes in with the ability to add a +1/+1 counter to it. So say if you have a creature with hexproof or has some sort of protection that you can keep alive on the battlefield long enough to build its counters, given enough mana, you can use Dueling Coach to just buff someone up. Windows, can you be quiet? The only thing that is kind of a bummer is the fact that it does cost 5 to put +1/+1 counters on your creatures, and you have to tap Dueling Coach. However, if you already have a deck, or if you want to build a deck that puts +1/+1 counters on all your creatures, or if you have a lot of creatures and you're building a counters deck, you can put additional counters on each creature with counters already on it. And if you have cards that double the number of counters that you put on creatures, which I know they're out there. I don't know about this set specifically, but I know there are cards out there that let you double the number of counters that you put on creatures when you put counters on creatures. I'm excited for this card, and it's only an uncommon, so wouldn't mind a full set of those. Also, just to note, obligatory mono white board wipe. Strixhaven has it. Although this one's really interesting. You can spend 2 less mana to do the same thing, except your opponent chooses 2 non-land permanents to return to their hand, which is kind of a bummer. But it's an early game board wipe that gives your opponent a little bit of control. Not too excited about that. I'm generally not a big fan of playing board wipes myself. I prefer to kill my opponent before they get to the point where they think, oh, I should use a board wipe. I'm not the kind to do that though. Maybe I should. Maybe that's a mistake. Moving on. Something else that stands out to me is this new ability to learn. Oh my heck, I love cards that let you pull from outside the game. I'd have to take a look at all the lesson cards that are currently out there, at least revealed in this set. I'm excited. It kind of makes me want to create a deck solely around lessons and learning, and the more you know. Look at that. Learning can be so fun when it's done in Magic and not in calculus. So to learn means you reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. Or if you don't want to do that, you can discard a card to draw a card. And something like this, Guiding Voice, it only costs 1 white. You can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which we've already talked about counters. I'm super excited about counters. But on top of that, you get to learn. I'm really excited about Guiding Voice. I know it's only a common, but I feel like this would be a good staple, especially if you were to do a mono white deck, or any deck that needs a little extra control in it. I'm excited about Guiding Voice. I'll just leave it at that. Obligatory mono white cat creature. Got him there. One thing that I'm not too sure about in regards to Magecraft, which triggers whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. For Leonin Lightscribe, for example, it says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Would that stack? That's a question I have. And if you know whether or not that would stack, so say if you cast or copy multiple spells in a turn, would you get multiple +1/+1 counters? And I'm asking for everyone, please put it down in the comments, because I don't know, but considering the rarity of this card, and the fact that it's a 2-costing 2/2 creature, I'm hoping that this stacks, because if it stacks, that would be legit so great. I would love to point out just one other card that stands out to me, at least in the color white, which would be Sparring Regimen. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly, but I don't know how else you would say it, which is an enchantment. And I'm super excited about this because I have a mono white enchantment deck, and it's beautiful, and I'd love to add this to an existing deck that I already have. But by itself, it's so great. First of all, you get to learn when it enters the battlefield, so already we get to do some learning. But in addition to that, for 3 mana, you can put an enchantment on the board that dictates whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. That counter stays. There is no until end of turn on this card, which is so flippin' great. I love it. And you get to untap it, which means if you wanted to, you can swing with everything and keep one untapped, and you always have a blocker on hand, so you can continue to push offensively and be protected. I love it. Sparring Regiment, I am super excited for it, and I might just invest in a full set just for myself, because it's so beautiful. If you got some value out of this video, even if it's just an itty bitty tiny little bit, feel free to like this video and subscribe for more Magic the Gathering videos. And if you are interested in watching live Magic online, I am also available on Twitch. I should not say it like that. I am present on Twitch. Well, I'm also available, but not... There's a link down below in the description if you would love to hang out and play Magic with me. I'm gonna leave it at that.